What is up, guys? I am back, and yeah, hope you guys had a good holiday bit there. Whatever it is that you celebrate. And forgive me if I sound weird or look weird. I think I'm a little bit sick. I'm not feeling too great. Been outside a lot, and it's cold as shit here. And considering I live in Texas, it's usually hot as shit, so my body is definitely not acclimated at the moment. So, yeah, sorry about that. But, top 5 games of 2012. When I'm recording this on December 26th, in about 4 minutes, it's going to be December 27th. So, I don't really think any games are coming out in the next 4 days. That'd be kind of a dumb marketing plan. But, if they do, whoops, or 3 days, I don't know. I'm fucking terrible with that shit. But yeah, let's just get right into this. First off, I'm not, this is games, DLC, anything like that, doesn't really matter. If it's a game that you can play, or a DLC that you can play, not necessarily a DLC, but like, well, you'll see. I have one sort of exception in here. Let's start off with number 5, Far Cry 3. I'm basing these off of how much time I put into them and how well I enjoyed that time. And Far Cry 3, I put about 20 hours into so far, but in the first little bit that I had it, I put a lot of hours into it. And it was a thoroughly enjoyable game. It had a few flaws. I don't think that the storyline was... I didn't like the storyline so much. I think I should have had a little bit more control over my character. But that's a minor thing. I mean, this game just has so much in it, from, the massive map to, the hunting, the missions, the side missions. This game has a lot of replay value as well. Not for me necessarily, but I can definitely see how it does. So, I just had a blast playing it. I mean, there's just so much to do. There's so many ways to go about things. This really was a great game, and I wasn't a huge fan of like, I played some of the old Far Cry's on the original Xbox back in the day. At least I think it was Far Cry's. It had to have been. And I mean, I was a kid. I just kind of played anything that I could get my hands on. And I wasn't a huge fan of Far Cry 2, although I know the map editor was amazing. I had a friend who was like a junkie about it. And yeah, I mean, I wasn't a huge fan of previous Far Cry's, but this one really was good. It impressed me. It looks great. It feels great. To me, it's like a perfect love child of Dead Island, Assassin's Creed, and Red Dead. I just fucking... Red Dead Redemption. I forgot the name of that game. I didn't put too much time in that game, but it does have a few elements of it. And I mean, you can definitely see the Assassin's Creed in it, considering it comes from Ubisoft. There are some major elements in there that are very Assassin's Creed-esque. And I mean, when it comes to the driving, the way things look, even the guns a little bit, it's a lot like Dead Island as well. So, yeah, it's number 5 on my list, and I'm going to move on to number 4, Borderlands 2. I thought this game was probably going to just be battling out with Halo 4 for my Game of the Year, but it didn't catch me the same way Borderlands did, just the original. I have maybe somewhere around 100, 200 hours in Borderlands, realistically, maybe a little bit more. And, it's such an enjoyable game. It does wear on you eventually, but it's just so good. And I don't know why, even though they did a lot of things that they didn't have in Borderlands, with the storyline and, the area. I'm trying to fucking think of the word. The environment, I guess. It just didn't grab me like Borderlands did. Granted, like I said, it's number 4 on my list, top 5 games of the year. So it's still an amazing game. I have about 35 hours into it. The only problem I had with it was I put those 35 hours in and didn't really want to touch it again. I haven't had the urge to play it. It just doesn't have the same replay value that Borderlands did for me. And you know, it might be because there wasn't really another game like Borderlands at the time. And now that you've played Borderlands, Borderlands 2 is just nothing new. And you know, the DLCs might change that for me as well. But as of right now, while it was an extremely fun and an extremely impressive game, it was not enough to get on the top 3 for me. There were other games that I put a lot more time into that I'm going to be putting a lot more time into, and that are just overall games that I had more fun with. And I can definitely see, you know, the massive amount of replay value in Borderlands 2 as well. You know, it's just not there for me. Maybe because, like I said, I put so many hours into the original Borderlands, but you know, I mean, that doesn't take anything away from the game. It's definitely a game that you should buy if you haven't yet. It's hours of fun. You know, the whole shift code thing they did, I don't know if they're still doing that, was great. That was a good idea. There are just a few minor flaws with the game, and it just didn't attract my attention enough to make top 3. And, yeah. On to number 3. Number 3, which this actually surprises me a lot, is Halo 4. I definitely expected this to be my game of the year. And I think a lot to do with it is that, you know, I don't really have any friends that play console too much anymore, and the ones that do, you know, play Call of Duty. It's that simple. You know, the community isn't there, and it's saddening because Halo was like my childhood. That was like the game that I put hundreds of, you know, rather thousands of hours into throughout all of them. And it's just sad that the community's been reduced to nothing when it used to be the biggest console community. But that does not take away from the fact that this game is fucking amazing. You know, the matchmaking is great. It's fairly balanced. It's, you know, there's a few minor things that I would like to see fixed, but all in all, it's a great game. You know, I'm only level 26 because I haven't put much time into it recently. Just because I haven't had the urge to. But I guarantee you I will eventually be putting a lot of time into that game, because I always do. The campaign was great. The story was so immersing in this one. No spoilers, but I even got a little glassy-eyed at the end. But, you know, it's such a good game. The only problem is the community it's pretty dead. I mean, compared to what it used to be, you know, before it looked really promising, because before Black Ops 2 came out, there were, you know, 300,000 to 500,000 people online today, and I was like, wow, this is awesome. But then Black Ops 2 came out, and that changed. So that is unfortunate. I'm just going to go ahead and say this. I'm not a fan at all of Black Ops 2. I played that game for about 6 hours and wanted to break it in two, so I sent that puppy back. I don't even know if I played it that long. Well, I probably did, including campaign. So that's how I feel about that. But like I said, Halo 4, it looks amazing. It feels great. I honestly prefer the 30 FPS shooters. You know, I've always loved the Halo and I like Battlefield more than I like Call of Duty. I mean, I loved Call of Duty 4, and Black Ops, the original, was a good game. But just all in all, I prefer the 30 FPS shooters, and you know, this does not disappoint. There is a skill gap. You know, there's, you know, almost all the weapons are skillful. I actually like the addition of the essentially kill streaks, or point streaks, or whatever. Fucking forget the name of it though. So yeah, I can't believe I had that brain fart. But I mean, I love the addition of that. The armor abilities aren't too bad, although Jetpack can be a little bit OP at times, at least when I was playing. I don't know if they've patched that or not. And when they add in that ranking system, that's when I'm going to be playing again. Because as of right now, the ability to quit out and join into games, there's not enough people playing for that to work well. I mean, just you know, whenever I got on a few weeks ago in late November or early December, one of the two, after, you know, like a week hiatus, and it was there was like 3 matches where, you know, everybody on my team quit, and I didn't get new teammates for 3-4 minutes, and that's a big thing in Halo. And then after that, people would quit again because we were down by so much at that point. You know, it's just it's frustrating as far as that goes. But that, like I said, does not take away. Well, it kind of does take away from the game, but it's definitely a game that you should go out and buy if you haven't. I definitely think it's better than Call of Duty. I wish the community was there in that game, but it's not what it used to be. The community is still larger than Reach's was, though, so that is a good thing. But yeah, on to number 2. This is my exception. DayZ. Now, I know Arma 2 didn't come out in 2012, and I don't know if DayZ came out in 2012, but I know I caught on to it in late May, early June, and I know it was still early in alpha, so I'm assuming it came out in 2012. And even if it didn't, it blew up in 2012. It's basically a fucking 2012 game, okay? Now, while I don't really play it anymore, I am desperately awaiting the standalone because WarZ was an absolute piece of fucking shit. Cannot stand that game. And, but, I mean, not only did I put in, you know, somewhere between 100 and 250 hours, I'm not exactly sure, because when you play it through the little thing, it doesn't count it on your Arma 2 thing, but it led me on to other Arma 2 things that I put in 90 hours into. So, I mean, this game, it does eventually wear out, but it is a good 100 to 200 hour piece of entertainment. It is fucking great. It's nice and cheap. When, you know, the mod's technically free, I'm pretty sure, but, you know, Combined Operations is $30 or something like that, and they usually have sales on Steam for it. And I'm pretty sure this died down a lot by now, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, because whenever you have a bunch of people in there, that's more script kiddies, that's more, you know, people being assholes, and it's harder to get into low-end lobbies to get your shit. So, Kitty, what are you doing? But yeah, this game was just all around amazing. It's so big, you know, which I hope when they release standalone they have multiple maps and they are as big as Chernarus was. But you know, it's such a massive game. There's so much to do. You know, you get the first like 20-40 hours just wanting to survive and figure out where to go and do everything, and then after that, you know, you mix things up a little bit and maybe go, you know, turn into a bandit, you know, anything like that. There's just so much to do. There's so much to experience. It's such a complex thing just for a mod on one map that, you know, a couple people, I think, created. And it was so good, and there's a reason it blew up, because it was that fucking good. It really was. It's an awesome game to play with your friends. It's an awesome game to play by yourself. It's just an all-around great game. And, well, mod, but I'm counting it as a game. So, that's number 2. And number 1 is actually probably going to surprise some people. Mass Effect 3. Yeah? Okay, that was my cat. I probably will cut that out, but maybe not, because I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it. But yeah, Mass Effect 3. I played Mass Effect 1, and I didn't really like it. Didn't play Mass Effect 2. Caught on Mass Effect 3, I was like, fuck it, you know what, I'll get it. Fucking great game. You know, some people, you know, say that it's not as good as Mass Effect 2 or whatever, and I can see that because of, you know, nostalgia and all that good stuff. And I did go back and play Mass Effect 2, and that was a great game as well. I beat that shit in like 4 days, like 24 hours on it, and that was a great game. I love the super detailed character lines. I love the combat. I love the leveling. I love everything about that game. I have probably 150 hours in it, so maybe not as much as DayZ. I don't really know for sure. It's debatable, but I know that it. I've replayed the game like 7 times, and I haven't even done any of the DLC yet. It was just apart from the ending. Okay, let's just count out the ending. It was an amazing game. So immersing. You had so much control over your character. So many different, bonds and friendships and enemies and all that shit that you keep track of. And it took a long time for me to get tired of that game, even replaying it, just doing different things and stuff like that. And yeah, I mean, that's why it's my #1. It's just such a good game. It's another one of those games that looks great, that plays great, and I don't like the multiplayer that much because it's just it's the same thing, over and over again. But whatever, that's one small thing about it. And a lot of people like the multiplayer, and I enjoy watching the multiplayer if it's the right person. Like, I've watched a lot of XCal's, you know, shit with the multiplayer. So, yep, that is my top 5 games of the year. Next thing I'm going to do is top 5 albums of the year. And it's kind of a weird thing because I don't really do that much on my channel with music stuff. But, I mean, music's a big thing for me. So, I'm going to go ahead and do that too. It probably won't get many views, but I don't care. I just want to do it. And, this probably won't either, but whatever. So, yeah, that's about it, guys. I'm probably going to go ahead and record the top 5 albums. Maybe right after this, maybe not. But it'll be up in the next couple days, if not the next 12 hours. So look out for that, and we'll catch you guys on the flip side. Make sure I get on the stop recording button. Yeah, peace.